Can you share a story of a client engagement where your work, whether as you mentioned, it's a merger or a performance improvement or a succession plan for a firm, it really truly transformed the firm's path? Can you talk a little about a specific engagement where that has happened?
Yes, I'm happy to do that, and there's many, so I have to sort of sort it out in my mind. But I will share with you two stories that relate to an M&A situation, and one is a real situation that we really don't control. We
Mhm.
all know in life you can't control disability and death, and I had a situation where I was brought in a particular partner who was the last partner standing was the last partner standing because one of his partners died in the last year and the other partner had the onset of Alzheimer's.
Oh, goodness.
So a three partner firm became a solo practitioner. And when I met that partner, he was a mess. He just could not endure that situation. And I met him at the beginning of a tax season. And I was able within 30 days to align him with another firm who staged a transaction and basically saved his life. And together, the successor firm and all of his people, by the way, all of his, this is now 10 years later, all of his people are still there. The gentleman did retire 2 years later, but happily, because he would not have had the ability to do that. He would have had to walk away. And that was extraordinarily gratifying. It was wonderful for all parties involved. So that's a case where life interferes with the best laid plans. The other situation I'll tell you is that I work with many firms that have 20 to 50 people, and they are extraordinarily frustrated by their inability to deliver more to the client, that they're just so stressed out and they feel that they could be doing more and could be doing better. And their commitment to their clients is just as if they were family. And rather than looking at their clients as a series of transactions, they look at it as if they can do and need to do more for their family. And I can think of a four partner firm who was doing an outstanding job of being responsive, but wearing themselves out. And it was becoming difficult for them in their own family lives. Thankfully, it was not a physical health issue, but we were able to introduce them to a firm about three times their size. And the comment that I saw 6 months into the deal was, "Oh my God, what we're now delivering to our clients." And this was four partners who were not going to retire anytime soon. They wanted to be able to enjoy what being a CPA was all about, and they couldn't because of the inability to find staff, the inability to pivot enough. And now we're talking about a number of years later, and they'll say to me, "We should have done this 10 years earlier." So that's a real life success story on the M&A side. On the performance side, I can tell you that the first performance diagnostic I ever did, I went in and visited with a very successful firm and took a look at their metrics and saw that their metrics were so below par for their skill set. And the managing partner, who's a very astute person, said to me, "But I check all of our metrics comparing it to national surveys." And I said to them, "Well, that's only the beginning. How well do you know what goes on in your own backyard?" And he says, "Well, I don't know that." And I said, "Those surveys have particular geographic bias. They don't include a number of firms to the level of your neighborhood." And he was shocked. And I suggested to him that he was materially off, and he was struck by that.
Mm.
He said, "I have to process this." And I left, not knowing whether I had insulted the man. And an hour later, he called me up and he said, "Ira, I just want you to know, as soon as you left, I called a meeting with my three other partners, and we've now set in motion a process to raise our fees across the board, fire clients that really shouldn't have been here, but we're too nice at what we do. And
Mm.
a year later, their metrics and performance was lights out. And they're able to stand the test now of remaining independent because they have that much more profit on the table. They're able to pay their people better and as a result, retain their people for a longer period of time. So those are very much stories that come to mind and are very, very heartwarming.